You don't have to find your purpose because it isn't lost. It's inside of you, waiting and ready to be revealed when you're ready to walk in it. If you can't hear the voice of God, it's probably because you didn't do the last thing God said. Remember that time when Abraham decided to have a child with Hagar, and then God went silent for 13 years? Yeah, that part. Your purpose is beyond the situation that got you here. God had the idea of you way before your parents were even a thought. Fun fact, my mom was on her way to get birth control the day she found out she was pregnant with me. Hey! Most people aren't confused about their purpose. They've let people on the internet convince them that their purpose isn't important enough to actually pursue. You have this idea that if you pursue your purpose, it won't lead to the lifestyle that you want, or the influence that you want. But the truth is, where God guides, He provides. The life you're dreaming to live is hidden in the purpose you've been unwilling to walk out. Everything you've done that you think disqualifies you from your purpose is something God already knew you would do. I'm here to tell you, you're still qualified. You won't be able to walk out your purpose without using faith. God's not going to give you a plan that doesn't require Him. If you want to step out and do the thing God is calling you to do, but you feel afraid, welcome. We were all afraid at one point. Do it anyway. I promise God is a safe space. Our purpose as believers is to live in relationship with God. And then part 2 of that is to bring other people into relationship with God. So if you're doing that, you're nailing purpose. What may change is the how you get people to come into relationship with God. Don't be afraid when your job or career may change. As long as you're in relationship with God and bringing people into relationship with God, you're not lost or wandering. You are still living in purpose. Just because somebody's already doing it doesn't mean it can't be your purpose too. There are over 1 billion people on earth. That means that God might want more than one person assigned to doing a certain thing. And it's okay. If you're trying to figure out how to discover your purpose, the best thing you can do is start reading the Bible. And if you're thinking, hey, where should I start reading? I would suggest Nehemiah. If you're not familiar with the book of Nehemiah, it's an incredible story about a brave young man. So he was living in the king's palace, right? He was the cupbearer to the king. That means he had a real cushy job, and all he had to do was taste everything before the king ate it. So it was a really great job, unless somebody was trying to poison the king. At any rate, one day someone came and they told him, hey, Nehemiah, the walls of Jerusalem have been torn down. Things are not going well. Nehemiah prayed and asked God if he could do something about it. And God said, yes, ask the king if you can go. Nehemiah was very afraid because you weren't really allowed to go and ask the king things without permission. He went to the king and he looked really sad, which was also not allowed. The king's wife was like, hey, you're looking sad. What's going on? And he was like, I got to be honest. The walls to my city of my people has been torn down, and I wanted to know if you would give me favor and let me go and fix the wall. The king said, yes, you can go and you can fix the wall. So you would think Nehemiah's like, whew, I made it by. But what Nehemiah does is he said, well, since you're going to let me go, can I take a donkey? And also, can you send some letters out to the people in the surrounding kingdoms and let them know that you've given me permission to go and do this? And by the way, can you give me some building materials so I can rebuild the wall? Plot twist, the king said yes to all of this. I think that I have to pit stop here and say sometimes we're afraid to step out and do the thing that we believe God is calling us to do because we don't understand the immense amount of favor that is going to be surrounding us when we actually step out and do the thing that God said. Back to the story. Nehemiah gets to Jerusalem and he's like, hey, you guys, we got to rebuild this wall. And all the people in Jerusalem start to surround him to help him actually rebuild the wall, which is incredible, right? Just like it's incredible how when you step into your purpose, people will come and they'll start to help you. But here's the other thing. Just like sometimes you feel like you step into your purpose and there are people who are not trying to help, there are people that were not trying to help Nehemiah. Specifically, Tobiah, Sanballat, and Geshem. They were some leaders in other surrounding cities and they did not want the wall to be rebuilt. And so they literally started heckling Nehemiah. Like, guy, this is never gonna work. That wall is trash. We could throw cotton at that wall and it would fall down. It's not gonna protect anything. Like, they were just going in. And still Nehemiah kept building the wall. And then when none of that worked, they kept saying things to him again. Oh, Nehemiah, you shouldn't be rebuilding the wall. Then they literally resorted to physical violence. It got to the point where the people in the city had to have bricks in one hand to build the wall and swords in another hand to fight the people that were with Tobiah, Geshem, and Sanballat that were coming against them. And so they were like, oh my gosh, like, this is crazy. We're having to work and fight at the same time. But Nehemiah said, just keep going. We have to build the wall. When those three leaders saw that Nehemiah was not willing to give up, they eventually said, hey, Nehemiah, why don't you just come and talk to us? Just come and talk to us and we'll make sure that everything is worked out. We don't have to have this animosity between us. But Nehemiah was able to hear wisdom from God and know, they was trying to take him out. And he was like, I will not be taken out. And so they just kept saying, come talk to us, come talk to us. And one of my favorite verses in the Bible is when Nehemiah said, why should I come and talk to you? I am doing a great work and I cannot come down. And that is the resolve that we have to have when it comes to living out our purpose. Yes, there were people that were against him. Yes, there were people that were trying to get him not to build the wall. There was even someone that came and tricked him and said, hey, those guys, they're going to come and get you. Let us go and hide in the temple to keep you safe. But Nehemiah, again, had wisdom from God. And he said, I'm not going anywhere with anybody outside of where God told me to be. I am staying and I am building this wall. And it was good he didn't go because that guy, he was a traitor and he was literally trying to get Nehemiah. So here's the thing, and here's the lesson in all of it. Be like Nehemiah. Find out the great work that God is calling you to do. And once you find it, refuse to come down for anyone or anything. Nothing should be pulling you away from the purpose that God has for your life. I'll talk to you guys next time. Love you.